Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Great game.
Hey! Happy Friday! Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I was just saying to Bull, I don't know that we've done a show together in a couple months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like it's
At
been
least
a
a month or
long
so,
time.
but now we're back to, I'm on.
There it is, baby. I haven't seen that in a
That's
couple
it.
years.
I'm back to being on every Friday now till the end of February. So
Good. Awesome.
There you go.
It's football season officially tonight. High school
That's right.
football.
Yeah.
I mean, last night.
Avon popping St. Ignatius 40-14, I
Laid
believe.
the wood to them. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
St.
our
Ignatius once a power. You never would
Yeah.
have thought that,
Yes.
but Avon now is the power.
Avon is the power. That's our big rival, but congratulations to Avon on a big win last night.
And your boy had a pretty big night last
He
night.
had a great game last night.
Yeah.
He was
Good for AJ.
We were watching some videos. There was one play Jason just showed me. Jason's son AJ is a freshman in high school.
Big kid.
Strong kid. Like,
Yeah.
he's not fat. He's just a strong, tall kid. And he got the kid who was playing against him was actually a lot bigger than him, size wise. But he had no way to stop him because AJ was just running right around him. This last play he showed me, he got double teamed. One kid's holding him. The other
It's unbelievable.
And he still got around.
Holding him.
I love it,
impressive.
man.
He went up to the ref at one point because his shoulder pad was sticking out.
Yeah.
And he showed the ref, he's like, I didn't do that to myself.
Yeah, right.
They
Someone
are
had to
holding
grab
me.
my shirt.
Could you please watch?
So is football going to overtake baseball as his main sport,
I think,
do you think?
I think swimming's his main sport, actually. I think swimming's his best sport.
Yeah, he's
of
really
all
good.
of
The
them.
kid's a superstar athlete.
He broke a record, a 14U record for the school that Bart Swain's son, PR guy for the Guardians, Bart's son Joe was a state finalist swimmer at Avon Lake. Wow. Phenomenal swimmer. He's at Cincinnati now.
That's
terrific
incredible.
swimmer. AJ got one.
Does
of
he
his
love
records.
one more than the other, or is it whatever he's
Whatever's
doing?
in season.
Yeah, that's
we
what
were
I was
at
too.
Jason and I were at a swim meet together this summer, this championship meet, because AJ and Aaron were both competing. And
That was the meet where he did it. It was.
that
meet.
was
Yeah.
that meet.
Oh, wow.
And you should see this kid. I mean, he struts around at these swim meets like he's the King Peacock in
Well,
town.
I saw him coming out of the Morgan Wallen concert Saturday.
Yeah.
He was in the parking lot. Jason had come down to get the car.
Yeah.
And we were walking up, a group of us,
Yeah.
and I said something to him, and he clearly had no idea who
He
I was.
figured out who you were after you were by. 'cause
And
he
he's got
said,
this huge black cowboy hat on,
yep.
standing there like he's ready for a modeling photo shoot.
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid is not lacking for swag.
No, definitely
No,
not.
You
he's
know what?
not.
Before you can be great, you have to believe you can be great. And I
Absolutely.
think he believes he can be
Well,
great.
that's what I told my wife because Leslie was like, "Man, he needs to get some humble pie." I'm
No,
like, listen,
let him go.
He will get humbled on his
He
own.
will.
Yeah,
You
sure.
have got to have confidence.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're gonna
okay.
do this.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Most parents with their kids wish they had more confidence.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's tough to
We don't
to
have
build.
that problem.
No,
Yeah,
and that's
no.
a good thing. Mike, busy show, busy rundown, 90 minutes here, and then we flip to Channel 3 for...
Some never-before-seen content. I just want to let you guys know that I sent you a topic that I said, I'm not telling you
Mystery
what it
topic.
is. It's a mystery topic. I've been saving this topic for a show you and Bull are on together.
Oh, wonderful. So we're going to
Because
be on
it's
opposite
been-
sides.
Mike is trying to incite violence.
Yeah,
That's good, though, but-
I want
Yeah.
to tell the audience right now.
Yeah.
I've been going through some stuff on the personal life lately, and I just need a little bit of excitement.
Yeah, okay.
So I decided,
Yeah.
we're going to see. I think it's going to happen. I'm just going to launch a grenade
Got to
out,
be
and I think
natural,
it's
though,
going to
Mike.
excite
We're not
you
going to.
guys.
You can't do it on purpose.
No, I mean, look, he's not going
It
to argue
happens, it
something he
happens.
doesn't believe in.
No.
No,
Now,
I just think
I'm thinking it must be a Baker Mayfield topic because we're both pretty entrenched on our views on Baker Mayfield.
It's
Which,
not
by
the
the way,
right-
did
I
you
don't
see
know.
his
I mean,
new
I've
his
been-
Popeye's chicken commercial?
He's good. He's a damn good.
He is a great
He's a damn
actor.
good
I'm
actor.
telling you, he might be a better actor than quarterback.
You know, to
Damn
be
good
fair,
actor.
I've said consistently here as we've looked at rankings in the offseason that I said that Baker's between the 10th and 12th best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
I hardly think that's an insult.
I got him lower half, like number 10 is where I have him.
Yeah, so I mean, we're in the same ballpark
Yeah,
at this point.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the topic is
we'll
not.
see.
It's not directly Baker related.
No.
Yeah, but it must be
There's something to still grenade out. We'll see what happens. But I'm very excited. Maybe? We're going to end the YouTube show talking about Emmanuel Clase and his legacy.
Yeah.
Outside of what he's been.
I got a lot of fire for that topic.
And I've been waiting. This was on the rundown the Monday after Shedeur's performance against Carolina, but because we ended up talking so much, we ended up killing it.
Yeah.
And then we haven't had a baseball panel that I thought was worthy of having this discussion all at once since. Right. So 2 topics in today's show have literally been not saved for this particular panel,
right,
but for the right cast of characters to have said discussions.
Good, perfect.
And I'm very excited to dive in.
Quick,
so
it's worth at least like noting Malik Beasley, according to his agent, is off the hook.
That's what it sounds like.
With the FBI investigation.
Yeah.
That shocked me.
I thought of what we've heard, I thought for sure he was cooked.
Normally when the FBI gets a hold of you, it's done.
Usually.
You're done.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe, is there a chance Clase gets cleared?
Absolutely.
Possibly.
I have no idea.
You know, the smoking gun is going to be really hard to find. If they don't have an electronic trail, then it's all like, hey, it's coincidental, man.
Yeah.
I'm just really wild on that first pitch.
Yeah.
I would say this real quick on Beasley before we dive in. Mm-hmm. He was in line to get a pretty big free agent contract this summer. He finished in the top 3 in 6 Man of the Year voting. Almost every team that had money and cap space in free agency has used said money, cap space in free agency.
That's interesting. Yeah. So
there is not a lot of opportunities for him to cash in. So I was talking to some people this morning, just friends, nobody in the league. I think there's a chance that Malik Beasley would sign a vet minimum contract. Not necessarily here, but just a 1-year vet minimum deal to then cash in next year as opposed to signing like a 2-year deal way under his value. Yeah. And the Cavs do have 1 open roster spot left.
Okay.
Now, I did not anticipate them using it on a veteran player. I think they're going to use it as a 2-way. But if Malik Beasley...
This is an interesting scenario.
And that's my point. If Malik Beasley wants to go to a team that he believes can win a championship, he could play a role on a team that could play deep into the playoffs, he would be the best money spent on a vet minimum you could possibly ask for. Whether it's Cleveland, whether it's another team, I think the Lakers make a lot of sense for him too. Add some shooting alongside LeBron and Luka.
I think you're reaching.
Are you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. There's got to be teams that have the mid-level available.
The Nets.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Utah.
Well, I don't know.
The timing of it wasn't good for him.
You going to go to either of those teams? Probably not, right?
Depends if he wants money.
Yeah, what's his play? The smarter play, if I was his agent, go someplace where you can win and be a factor.
Yeah. I don't know how much.
And then cash in on a 2-year deal or whatever
I don't know how much
year.
he's made. I don't think he's made a ton in his career.
So you're saying it'd be a money grab, perhaps?
Take the money. Take what you can get.
Interesting. We'll keep our eye on that.
Usually the veteran minimum guys are the guys at the end of their career trying to chase a ring.
Right.
Anybody with any sort of upside potential.
But he wants another payday.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to follow.
He's made $60 million in his career.
Just quick yes or no. Would you want him here? I would.
In a heartbeat.
I definitely would.
For sure.
I mean, I think he could make a difference here.
He's a really good player. Like he can make a really difference
good player.
basically anywhere he goes.
But now there's other baggage that you got to consider.
Yes.
But
I'm just saying if he's willing to take a vet minimum, I don't think the Cavs are going to use that 15th roster spot on a regular veteran.
Instead, we're going to go with an irregular veteran.
Parking lot. If you guys hear
it's a car alarm. I don't know if that's coming through our mics.
Well, if it did, that's what it was. It's off. I don't think they're going to use that 15th spot just on a depth piece. I think they'll use it on a 2-way. But there wasn't a player available of Malik Beasley's caliber who I think might be willing to at least consider the vet minimum. Just throwing it out there.
No,
I'd be all on board.
It's an interesting point
if it were to happen. But let's dive into today's show, guys. Lots to get to, and we start with the reminder that the UCSS Fantasy Football League is going back to Yahoo Fantasy this year. This entire episode of UCSS actually is presented by Yahoo Fantasy. Fantasy football is back. Fire up the group chats, get your draft boards ready, and buckle up for a season filled with breakouts, busts, and overreactions that we all live for. It all goes down on Yahoo Fantasy. The UCSS Fantasy League is going back to Yahoo, and you should too. We're going to figure out how to
We'll let you know on Tuesday. 2 fans are going to be members of this league, just like last year. We're going to pick 2 new fans, and we'll let you know on Tuesday how you have to do it.
Wait, we had 2 fans in our league last year?
Butters and Sam, who were both terrific additions. We're going to get 2 new fans in this year.
So they're out, and
they're out. Yes. Every year we're going to put 2 new fans in.
So we're going to let you guys know.
What do we have, 12 teams then?
12 teams.
Okay.
We're going to let you guys know next Tuesday, 1 week before the draft, how to enter, and then we will let you guys know how to get in. But to celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win it all. It all begins on August 4th. Stay tuned and get started by creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy Football League at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. All right, guys, the Browns preseason finale is set for this Saturday. It is the Browns versus the Rams. We know Joe Flacco is going to start the game. He's going to play between 20 and 25 snaps. That was according to Kevin Stefanski. Then Dillon Gabriel will take over, and then Shedeur Sanders will follow up Dillon Gabriel. We still don't know exactly the Rams' plans. Sean McVay historically has not played any of his starters in the preseason. He has not given any exact clarity to if that will change this year. So quality of competition, who knows? It's literally a complete question mark as of 10 a.m. on Friday morning. But the question I wanted to ask you guys is, we saw Shedeur against Carolina. We saw Dillon against the Eagles. Two separate opponents. This time we will get our first evaluation of the two rookie quarterbacks side by side against the same opponent. Will that give us a better understanding of where each of quarterback is by seeing them against the same opponent? Or because it's the preseason, it just frankly isn't a good indicator of really any long-term value? What say you?
To me, you learn nothing or virtually nothing as a fan or a media member in the preseason. You're certainly going to learn nothing. I know you said we don't know what the Rams are going to do. Sean McVay has never played his starters.
It doesn't matter. By the time those guys get in, they'll be
in the second half.
That's right.
They'll be showered.
Yeah, I mean, you might be looking at. I mean, they're both going to be playing, especially Shedeur, because he's going in third. But probably both of them are going to be playing not only against backups, but many guys who are not going to be on a roster.
Right.
So what do I learn? Plus, it's vanilla. Like a lot of these defensive coaches, especially, they're showing nothing in the preseason. They don't want to show anything. They're playing. Again, if a quarterback looks terrible in the preseason, that's a little interesting and eye-opening that maybe there's something wrong that even in this. But a guy looking good in the postseason, in the preseason, I don't care if it's Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, I don't care who it is, any rookie quarterback, it doesn't, to me, you believe what you want to believe, to me, it doesn't matter. It matters to the team, it matters to them, it's important reps and important learning tools for them. But in terms of us being able to understand who's good and who's not, I think we gain nothing out of it for me.
I completely agree. And to your point, a lot of these guys, especially in the second half, they're going to be cut.
Right.
They won't be on the roster. And I would even go so you said it's interesting to you when a guy plays poorly. To me, when a guy plays poorly in the preseason, there's red flags everywhere. If you can't get it done against the most simplistic base, non-exotic, no blitz defenses, there's a real problem.
Yeah.
Because if you can't handle it at that speed, how are you going to handle
That's fair.
when they start coming from all angles and you don't know where they're coming from? You're not really calling out blitz pickups. You're not changing protections. Everything is, we're going to put our 11 out, you put your 11 out, we're going to go 101, you're going to go 101. And it is what it is. If you can't run fast at that speed, that's a jog on the treadmill. That's a 4. If you can't handle the 4, what's going to happen when we kick it up to a 10 when the live action starts coming? So I won't be overly impressed by anything that I see in the preseason. I think what's ultimately going to happen here is that we're going to carry everybody into the season. And I also believe that at some point during the season, everyone's going to get a chance to play. And that's when I'll start making judgments on Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Right now, they've done enough to keep their heads above water, both of them.
Yeah.
They haven't done enough to win the starting job, that's for sure. So when they get a chance to play in the regular season, I'll start making my opinion.
They weren't winning the starting job unless everybody got hurt.
Everybody.
That was the only way.
Yep.
And
well, unless they were so outstanding you couldn't keep them off the field.
I mean, once that's happened in the last 25 years, that was Russ Wilson.
For a later round pick.
For a later round pick, yeah. That's the only time.
Because it rarely happens.
Yeah, Brock Purdy didn't take over. It didn't start after training camp.
December.
Right. It took the entire season before.
And 2 injuries.
The coach finally said, look, you want the best guy, he's the best guy.
And Weinke was the other one, Chris Weinke.
Right.
Those are, and then.
Right. It's rare. I don't even think Weinke played that well. I just think
he didn't.
No quarterback.
They drafted him in the 4th
Russell
round.
Wilson played so well they couldn't keep him off the field.
Yes. He beat out Matt Flynn for that job when Flynn was supposed to be the guy. They signed him as a free agent. He was supposed to be Russ was so good right away that he got the job.
And he brought him a Super Bowl in short order.
And he wound up being, I mean, say what you want about him, and yeah, he can be a fraud and a fake and a phony, whatever else. He was an incredible quarterback.
He was great. He had a nice run.
If either Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders were that good that they couldn't keep him off the field, there'd be no reason for Kevin Stefanski not to play one or both.
That's exactly right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So come up with every conspiracy theory you want about either of them. Kevin Stefanski wants to win games. It's that simple.
And he should. And so does Andrew Berry. And so do all the other players on the team. And they should.
You said conspiracy theory and it triggered something.
Yeah.
Mike, I don't think you had this in the rundown. Did you see the thing with Eric Dickerson?
I saw it. To me, and I'll explain why I didn't put it in the rundown. What Dickerson said doesn't add up to what actually happened.
It's so stupid.
What? I didn't see it.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
School me up here. I didn't see it.
Dickerson said that the NFL told everybody not to draft him. And then even before the Browns drafted him, they get a call from the NFL saying, don't draft him.
Right. Well, he said they got a call from somebody. So which is it? Did the NFL say don't draft him, or did the NFL call him?
I think the way I read it was he was saying basically the NFL, we're gonna show this kid a lesson. We're gonna teach him a lesson.
This is so
This is
stupid.
the kind of stuff that gets internet legs, and it drives me absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no credence to what he said.
So who is the magic person? If the NFL has this conspiracy,
who could make the call?
We're going to teach this kid a lesson. First of all, what lesson does he need to be taught? That's just, Steve, you don't want us to cuss? I'm catching him and putting him back in today, Steve.
Fiddlestick.
I'm catching him and putting him back in today.
There's been so many bad guys that have come into the NFL that the league
But they're going to teach a lesson with this one. Come on.
Why him? He's like one of the most likable kids
I know. It just doesn't
that
make
you'll
any
ever
sense.
be around.
So if the NFL has this conspiracy theory, who's the one that called the Browns?
That's what I wondered. And what did that call look like and sound like? Hello? This is Dark Agent X from the NFL. On behalf of Roger Goodell, do not draft Shedeur Sanders.
But so who's bigger than the NFL? And I actually heard this after the draft that Trump called Haslam and told him to take Shedeur. Like I heard that.
Yeah, that was going around too. That was definitely going around.
This is the world that we are in right now. This is so stupid. There was no conspiracy theory against Shedeur. They didn't like him. I'm sorry to all of the unhinged, fragile Shedeur fans out there. The NFL did not like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
I do too.
I like him. He's incredibly likable. I'm rooting for the kid to win the job. I have said since they drafted him, I hope when we get to the end of the season, he has more starts than anybody else on this roster because he's the most legitimate chance at finding a franchise quarterback. But for whatever reason, the rest of the NFL does not agree with us, with you. They didn't like him. And I laid out yesterday, I was talking to one of the NFL coaches, a coach in the NFL who watched the tape of Shedeur and said he's late. The Carolina tape said he was late on a number of throws. A lot of times he went where it wasn't supposed to go. So these guys are looking at things that we are not seeing.
Yeah, I'd say that Monday.
It's just the way that it is. And I don't like it either. Like, I want the kid to succeed and play because if they hit on a 5th round pick, it opens up so many other possibilities.
Jay,
but it has not happened to this point.
To your point, I know that all of the conspiracy theorists and all of the people that are starting these things believe they're helping Shedeur Sanders' cause.
They're not.
I will say it's 180 degrees in the other direction. This kid had to answer a question yesterday, I believe. We ran it on the 5 or the 6 o'clock show.
It was on Wednesday.
Okay. We ran the bite yesterday, so I didn't know what day it was. And maybe it was. No. Yeah, it was yesterday. Where he basically had to answer to the Dillon Gabriel
Gabriel stupidity.
So what you're doing by casting all of these different theories out there, and some of them to me seem like ready-made excuses if and when he fails. Well, they didn't want him to succeed. They set him up to fail.
Yep.
So what you're doing is you're distracting him from his goal. His goal isn't to be thinking about Dillon Gabriel and what kind of conspiracy he might be a part of. And does he think I'm an entertainer and he's a competitor? It's all distracting. It's noise that he doesn't need.
Well, if you go back to the draft and when they took him, I talked to someone who works in the league and I wrote a column on like the person I talked to said, are you shocked they took Dillon over Shedeur? And this person I talked to said, that tells me like they want no part of everything that comes with it. And they need another distraction like they need a hole in the head.
And they got it.
And then they wound up taking Shedeur anyway later on. And then what you just referenced is exactly what they were. This is what NFL teams are trying to avoid, where you've got one backup quarterback making a flippant comment. It may not have been great, like wording. I don't think it was in any way a shot at Shedeur. It's just a flippant comment. But now you've got reporters asking Dillon about it. Now you've got reporters asking Shedeur about it. And for what? It's nonsense.
I actually think he has not been a distraction at all.
No. He's handled this at an unbelievably professional level.
What he's doing is beyond professional. With all the pressure on him, with all the talk about him.
I agree.
He has been humble.
If
you needed him to be, I don't want him to be humble. I want him to be himself.
He was at the Avon game last night.
He was at the high school game, and he was talking to kids at halftime.
Yeah, he's talking to kids. He's in the community. I mean, the kids. The young man's doing everything right.
It would be awesome if he won the job. It would be awesome.
Well, the reason it'd be awesome is because it means he's a better quarterback than Joe Flacco.
That's not a high bar.
It is. It's a higher bar than anybody wants to give him credit for. Everybody's trying to keep him as low as they can all the time. Oh, he's not going to be the starter. He's ranked 31st of the 32. I don't care. He's the best quarterback we have on our roster right now.
Yes, he is.
And if Shedeur wins the job, not because of an injury, but Joe doesn't play well, Shedeur gets a chance and shines, that's a great thing for the Cleveland Browns because he's in his 20s and Joe's in his 40s.
Yeah.
And so I think, to your point, Bull, and I don't think we hit this hard enough, Shedeur handling it the way he's handled it, to me, gives him points.
100%.
It gives him points in personality. It gives him points in maturity.
Major points.
I also saw another soundbite from him yesterday where he was asked about what do you make of you being do you want to win the second quarterback job? And his answer was so genuine and so likable. Again, he goes, I don't care what string I am. I don't. All I care about is getting a chance. And when I get my chance, I'm going to be ready, and I'm going to ball out, and I'm going to show everybody what I can do.
That's all he's got to do.
That's what he's supposed to say.
Yeah,
Who cares if he's second string, third string, or fourth string? It means nothing. He's going to get a chance to play. And what he does during that chance is going to determine how long he's here.
Yeah. And at this point, really where he was drafted is irrelevant. Like, now he's in the league. It doesn't matter anymore. Now, like you said, when he gets his opportunity, at some point, he will get an opportunity. The Browns never, or almost never, have a season where only one quarterback plays. I think we've seen it like once.
I mean, they had 5 2 years ago.
Yeah.
5.
Oh, how many last year?
3 or 4?
3.
They had 9 the last 2 years.
Was it 9 the last 2 years?
Yeah.
9 in the last 2 years. Odds are very good he's going to get a chance to play.
And I agree with you. I think he's got the most upside of any quarterback on this roster. And yes, I don't necessarily agree that everybody in the league doesn't think he's good. Clearly, there's a lot of people in the league that don't buy into him.
I mean, when you fall to the 5th round.
Well, not every team needed a quarterback.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. At that position, you don't have to need a quarterback to take the kid in the 4th round.
I am not a conspiracy theory guy at all. I'm disgusted by our world and all the conspiracy theories. I don't believe he would have. I've said this before. I don't think he dropped out of the 1st round because of who he is. I think he dropped out of the 1st round because nobody looked at him as a 1st-round talent.
Right.
I think he dropped further than he would have because of this perceived distraction.
I think there's validity to that.
Because some teams looked at him as maybe a backup or a guy fighting for the starting job, and they're like, just like whatever it is. There's been other quarterbacks in the past. I don't want to go down that road, but like, whether it's his fault or not, people perceived everything that comes with him as a distraction. It's not fair to him.
He wasn't taken until the 5th round, but he was the story of the draft.
That's right.
He was the story of day 1.
Yes.
He was the story of day 2.
He's the number one selling
rookie.
Day 3. He is the number 1 selling rookie jersey in football.
Yes.
Name me another time in the history of the world where a 5th round pick.
Now that's that's an interesting dynamic, and I think we're going to talk about that. I'm going to save my thoughts on that.
Save that
for the next topic
WKYC
because
show.
It's undeniable that his level of popularity is off the charts. This makes me sad for him. Not because of his skill set, because of what he represents. He gathered this immense following through his college career, HBCU, Colorado, the elevation from lower level to upper level, and then having some success, both individually and team. Yeah. He was like a snowball going down a mountain. He gathered a lot of fans along the way. Now that army has followed him to Cleveland. That could be a great thing for Cleveland. However, somebody made a great point to me earlier this week. Somebody that's covered the NFL for years and years and years and no longer does. He said, I've never seen a quarterback go from 3 or 4 on the depth chart to 1 because a fan base is advocating for
Nor
it.
should he.
Nor should he.
But
a guy that's better than him shouldn't fall below him because he doesn't have people advocating for him. He said all of the people that are doing all of this loud screaming advocating for him, they think they're helping him.
They're not.
It will not move the meter.
I don't agree that he's not popular because of his skill set and his talent. That factors in.
Of course
but
it
it's
does.
far from the only reason why.
But if you were to list all of the factors he's a phenomenon. There's no question about it.
It's crazy.
If you're to list the factors of why he's a phenomenon, of course his skill set is in there, but it's not like it's almost like Johnny Manziel. That's why it's so interesting to me that here we go again down the same road.
I think it's like Tim Tebow.
There's a little Tim Tebow to it, but
I think he's a better player.
It might actually be a middle ground between Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel.
I think it's bigger than Tebow. I think it's bigger than every.
He is bigger than any of them. Yeah,
it's insane to me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, sadly for Tebow and Manziel, the hype fizzled, and when we got to see the product, we saw with our own eyes what it was. I'm hoping that that's not the case with Shedeur. I would love to see this kid have a 15-year career right here in Cleveland. That means that means he's doing big things. He's not going 5-12.
It would be quite the story if it was turned out to be a guy with all this hype, drafted late, ended up being the savior of this franchise.
Yes.
Real quick before we move on to our next topic. How do you think they look, both of them, real quick? We'll start with you, go around the horn. Dillon and Shedeur against the Rams on Saturday.
Expect them both to look good. To me, Shedeur's looked better than Dillon Gabriel, and he's playing later, so I'm expecting him to play better. But I think they'll both be, at minimum, competent, and we won't be like, oh, my God, what is,
Yeah, I don't think
we'll see that from either of them.
Yeah, okay. I think they'll be fine. It's so hard to gush praise for all the reasons you guys already laid out. You can't come in here and do victory laps if they look great against guys who are going to be cut. You better look great against guys who aren't going to be in the NFL in a week. It's just you just want to see them play. It's all. It's not even the result. It's just seeing them out there.
Yeah, get the reps. I expect them both to play very well. As you said, later in the game, you're playing against. Now, sometimes that could be interesting too because those guys are fighting for their careers.
Absolutely.
So they will be playing hard. They may lack the talent to be NFL players, but they're not going to lollygag it. There's going to be no lack of effort in that second half.
Certainly not.
Because most of these guys will tell you
it might be
that's the most important half of their lives.
It might be the last time they put on an NFL jersey.
And they all know that.
Yeah.
And because of that, effort will not be the problem. It'll be skill.
And I think it's good that Flacco, the starters, are playing because they haven't played the whole preseason.
Yes,
and
I agree.
You got to get some game action. I know you don't want anybody to get hurt, but
I'm with you.
You got to be ready to play.
I want to see him in regular action. I know practice is great, and I don't worry about him. I know once the lights come on, he's going to be just fine. But let's work out some of the bugs and the kinks.
We talked about it yesterday. I said Bitonio, Myles, and Denzel sit. They go nowhere near the field.
Yeah.
Everybody else
play.
Yep, I heard somebody this morning, like I say it was like, the Browns shouldn't start all their veteran offensive linemen. And I'm like, what?
Well,
you got a 40-year-old quarterback. You got to protect them.
Yes.
And get in that game shape rhythm, especially for the offensive line.
Denzel Ward 100% not going to play.
He better not even be in uniform.
He should never play another preseason game the rest of his career.
No,
honestly.
No.
I was upset when he got the concussion against the Chiefs in the preseason.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing? A guy with his history.
We know what he can do.
He needs to be in bubble wrap
until you need him
for the rest of his career.
Him and Myles and Joel should never play another preseason game the rest of their career.
Maybe Joel's last preseason game, but
I'm good with that.
We'll see.
All right, guys, let's get to our next topic. It's brought to us by FanDuel. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP shot, eyeing a long-time division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before Week 1 kicks off, this is your moment. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now because Futures Day is a one-day only event. FanDuel, play your game when you want on America's #1 sportsbook. All right, guys, the Browns have a projected win total this year of 4.5 games. It is tied with the Saints for the lowest in football.
You know what would be a good research project? Sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
Shoot. See how those numbers hold up.
For teams over the last 20 years in the NFL, teams that were projected that low, how many?
What they actually came through.
How many were over? How many were under?
Overachieved?
Yeah.
And to what extent?
Yeah, I would look into that.
Yeah. I would like to see that too.
Go ahead.
For the sake of this conversation, though, I only mentioned the over-under to set up the fact that expectations for the Browns aren't very high. Nobody considers them legitimate Super Bowl contenders.
Well, Danny Cannell said they'd win 9 or 10 games.
Maybe he does, but he'd be one of the only, and probably the only. But we don't look at this Browns team as Super Bowl contenders today. A big reason for that is the uncertainty in the quarterback room. We all know quarterback is the most important position, not just in football, but in sports. So I wanted to ask you guys, if we were to switch out Joe Flacco with quarterback X, and I'm going to give you a plethora of different quarterbacks, would that instantly make the Browns Super Bowl contenders? Not the favorites to win it all.
Super Bowl contenders?
Just legitimate
There isn't a
Super
quarterback
Bowl
you
contenders.
could put on this roster that would make them a Super Bowl contender.
Hard disagree.
So let's go through it.
And here's why. Who they throwing to?
Well, let's go through it. I'll give you the quarterback, and you guys tell me why
you already know
think
what my
they would
answers are
or
gonna be for all of
disagree.
them. Patrick Mahomes is going to win us a Super Bowl, guys.
We'll start out with the
He didn't
person
say
Jay
win a
just
Super
mentioned.
Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes. If you put Patrick Mahomes on the Browns as their starting quarterback today, is this team a legit Super Bowl contender?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I like saying a legit playoff team better. But
I would say that's what I would say.
Okay, can you make the AFC title game? If you can make the
make
AFC
the
title
game,
I would just say a playoff team. I can't. There isn't one. This is a 4.5 win team, guys.
yes,
but
because
it's 90% of that situation.
And okay, so you're talking about a player having an effect of +8.
If Patrick Mahomes is on this team, can they make the AFC title game?
I don't believe they
Yes,
can. No, and here's why.
1000% they can.
They are too deficient in other areas that are critical to team success.
No.
Okay, let's look at it this
But
way.
I do think they could fight for a playoff spot.
Here's why I think they would be a playoff team and a Super Bowl contender.
Wow.
The Browns' defense is just as good as the Chiefs.
The defense is the strength of this team.
To me, I still have the defense as a question mark because I know they were great 2 years ago, but they were awful last year, so who are they now?
I don't think they were awful last year. They were awful at times. I think they were mediocre last year. That's what I would say.
Okay, I thought they were below average.
I also think the offense was so horrendous last year.
There's something to that.
There is an effect.
You're right.
I look at the offensive line. I don't see a big difference. Now, the Browns have some questionable guys in terms of staying healthy, but if healthy, I think the Browns' offensive line is at least solid.
It's fine.
It's at least solid.
Let's just talk about the receiving core.
Okay, well, Jerry Jeudy
looked pretty
is as good as any receiver they have.
So Jerry Jeudy is our only known commodity.
That's right.
And that's not enough.
But who did they have as
The Chiefs, after Tyreek Hill, have not had a long list of superstars.
Rashee Rice was really good, but he got hurt last year, and now
their
he's
defense to our defense.
Well, Bull said he thinks
I think it's about the same.
I think you're crazy.
I don't know. I mean,
where did the Chiefs finish last year in total defense? And where did the Browns finish?
Give me 1 sec. Their leading receiver last year had 800 yards, though, which was Kelce.
Yeah, they don't have David the Joke.
Kelce you have to count as a receiver.
Yeah, but Kelce at this point, I don't know that he's not that good anymore. No. He's old. He's good, but he's not like a superstar anymore.
All of this they got boat raced in the Super Bowl because of the things that you guys are saying.
Okay, they went to the Super Bowl. My question was maybe Super Bowl contenders.
They did. So let's just do it this way.
Yeah.
They got to be better than the Bengals. They got to be better than the Bills.
Oh, they beat the Bengals.
They got to be better than the Ravens.
Right, but here's the thing. If they have Patrick Mahomes, they're better than the Bengals.
Wow.
They beat the Bengals now.
Wow.
Well, they haven't the last few times.
Wait a minute. They're better than the Bengals?
With Patrick Mahomes? Yeah.
Wow.
The Browns.
Despite the Bengals receivers.
And that's coming from a Bengals
Who's our running back? I mean, I'm just blown away right now. You got to have something else.
Who was the Chiefs' best back last year?
Look, the Chiefs are a well-oiled machine that get there every year.
I know, but that's Patrick Mahomes.
If the Chiefs lose Patrick Mahomes, they probably win 6 games next year.
I get it.
The Chiefs have culture.
Yeah, but mostly they have Patrick Mahomes.
Mike, if they lose, if Mahomes blows out his knee in Week 1, how many games do the Chiefs win next year?
That's a different argument.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
5. 6?
But that's the difference. That's the impact that the quarterback
Wait a minute.
makes.
I think 5 or 6 might be a little low.
No.
I think that might be a little low.
No.
So
Carson
you're saying
Wentz is their backup.
You're saying that the quarterback then is like a +7 player.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Wow.
A guy at that level?
Wow.
That level of quarterback?
Listen,
yes.
I know, and he hasn't even been great the last 2 years.
He
wasn't great last year.
Statistically, in terms of like passing yards, no, he wasn't great because he didn't have a lot of talent around him.
Right.
And that's the thing. And yet he still got that team to the playoffs
What was
and
our
to the
defensive
Super Bowl.
numbers? Did we figure that out yet?
Yeah, I mean, I went by points per game.
You go at that or total defense is what I like, but
I'll do points per game, and then I'll give you total defense. Kansas City was 6th last year. The Browns were 27th.
Okay, that's a gap. There's only 5 teams better than one, and there's only 5 teams worse than one.
But part of a huge factor in that is the Browns' offense is so bad that it puts their defense in bad situations.
Yeah,
I know. Ignore that.
I agree with that.
Go back to 2 years ago when the offense looked really good, the defense looked really good.
Yeah, but I just
go hand in
think
hand.
to say that you're discounting. And look, the defense could be number 6 this year. I don't know. I think that a lot of people are forgetting that Martin Emerson's gone. We're going to be talking about that a lot this year.
Yeah.
We will be talking about that a lot.
I don't think the Browns' defense is going to be great, but I think it's going to be decent.
I think they're going to be better than they were last year, but they're not going to be 6.
The Bengals won 9 games last year with the worst defense in the history of the league, maybe.
Was it?
One of the, an all-time bad defense.
They were
still won 9
32
games
last year? I didn't know that.
If the Bengals had Joe Flacco as their quarterback last year, they would have won 1 game, 2 games.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were the 32nd ranked defense last year.
Oh God, they were hideous.
I knew they were bad. I didn't know they were. I didn't know they were all time.
They
bad.
played
I don't follow them like you
the
do,
last
obviously,
6 weeks. They played like they were bad instead of all time bad, maybe.
Yeah.
But they were just hideous.
So
okay, so let's move on to the other quarterbacks. My answer is going to be no on all of them. But
Burrow was the next quarterback who led the Bengals to 9 wins.
Yep.
So the way that I'm interpreting this is, can they make the AFC title game? Because then you're a Super Bowl contender. If you can make the title game,
if
you
you're
are
in the
a
Final
Super Bowl
Four,
contender.
you're a Super Bowl contender.
And the answer again is yes. With Joe Burrow, they are in the AFC title game.
I got to know. I got to know. Again, I got to hard know. Who's going to run the ball? Who's he going to throw the ball to? And because of that,
we're making it. Jerry Jeudy, if nothing else, I think some fans have overrated him a little bit. He's still a good wide receiver. They have one good wide receiver.
I'm putting him in the good class, Joe. Bull.
The Bengals, the great quarterbacks like Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes make guys better.
100%.
And there's only 4 or 5 quarterbacks that do that, and so those guys. Yes, they make a significant difference.
But let's not diminish their wide receiver talent.
No doubt about it.
They make quarterbacks better.
The Bengals' wide receiving talent is fantastic. But there have been times where he's played without Chase. His first year in the league, he didn't have Chase. He still put up huge numbers.
So, I don't want to be too realistic with this, but to get the AFC title game, you have to beat minimum. You probably have to beat one of Mahomes, if you don't have Mahomes, if it's Burrow, Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Lamar. You got to beat one of them.
Yeah.
And then the other ones will play, and then you play one. You don't have to beat one of them. They could beat one of those guys with that type of quarterback for sure. Wow. Yes.
Wow.
The Bengals are better, but besides quarterback, obviously, because we're talking about Burrow being on the Browns. Where are the Bengals better than the Browns?
Receiver.
Wide receiver.
Obviously,
Wide
receiver.
receiver.
They're better at running back.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, that's 2/3 of your offense.
That leaves an entire
I'm talking about
defense.
the whole team.
I know. Look, the defense, give the Browns the edge.
The Browns are better at all 3 levels on defense.
They are. I would, but
the Browns have a better offensive line than the Bengals. Tight end is probably a wash. It's probably about even.
We're ignoring the importance of the wide receiver.
I'm not ignoring
position.
it. No. Obviously, you'd rather have the Bengals receivers than the Browns receivers.
I've seen elite, legendary quarterbacks make very average receivers look great.
I have too. It's easy to do that. However, when your talent, we have the worst wide receiving room in the NFL.
Well,
and you can make the argument who's got the worst running back room. So you're going to take a number 1 quarterback and you're going to take 32 wide receiver and 32 running back and elevate them to 4.
Where were the Bills running? Was it last year, 2 years ago? They had a horrendous.
Well, yeah, they did. But they didn't even try to run it.
So Josh Allen's the next one I was going to ask. The Bills receiving core last year.
Yeah.
Khalil Shakir, who I like, had 821 yards and 4 touchdowns. Keon Coleman was their second leading receiver with 556 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Matt Collins was their third leading receiver.
I don't think the Browns have
378.
The Browns don't have the worst wide receiving core because
they don't.
No,
I don't know that. To me, it seems they do.
I mean, again, Jerry Jeudy at worst is somewhere between 20
Does anybody
and 25.
rank these kind of things, Mike? Have we done any?
I'm looking up right now.
ESPN,
PFF has a ranking of the top receiver rooms.
The Browns. Listen, I don't like the Browns wide receiving room or their running back room.
32 on that.
But a lot of it's unproven guys. They have the Browns where wide receiver?
PFF, by the way, is back alive to me.
32.
They have them 32?
Yes, they had him.
Guys, I don't even think that's really. I don't think
that's correct. Who's 30? Who do they have 31st?
I just got out of it. I'll go back to it one sec. But ESPN ranked weapons, receivers, tight ends, running backs had the Browns at 29
collectively.
All right, that's not 32. Yeah,
so you're saying there's a chance.
By the way, a lot of that is just the Browns have unproven guys. I don't think the Browns are very good at wide receiver and running back. That's pretty obvious. The Browns may have addressed those positions differently as well if they had Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes instead of Joe Flacco. Here's the whole thing. If in theory you would have put Joe Burrow on this team this offseason, well, you wouldn't have traded down. You would have drafted Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Right? You probably would have.
Now we're going to secondary.
Now that may not be fair
I don't know
for
how
this
we do
argument.
That. Yeah, I don't know how we do that.
I think the bottom line is, to me, Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, and Lamar, and maybe Jaden Daniels. He's got to do it again.
You're a title contender.
Elevate the talent of any team, and I think would make any team a contender.
So
let
me ask the last one, then we can move on. Just because I have to test. I have to test loyalty.
We could find out.
Yeah.
Jay, would the Browns be Super Bowl contenders with Baker Mayfield?
No.
They had kept Baker Mayfield.
Yes, they would win it all. I should have said that off the jump. No, of course not.
Bo and Jason, you don't think that elevates them to any level?
No, they'd be better.
They would be significantly better.
Yeah.
But they would not. No.
You would literally, to take a team that's the win total, they're projected to finish 31st or 32nd. It's projected to have the first or second. Now, again, these are projections.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if this team wins 6 games. No, I wouldn't. It wouldn't blow me away.
No. I'd be surprised if they won 8 or 9.
9, I'm blown away. I love Danny, but Danny, I don't know what you got into. It may not be legal, but this team's not going to win 9 games.
He said 9 or 10.
Maybe we play this soundbite back 4 months from now.
He might think it's
when they're 10-7.
He maybe thinks Joe Flacco's 30, not 40. I don't know, but
I don't know what his thinking was.
The team's obviously better with Baker, but Baker's, to me, only tier 1 quarterbacks can really raise the talent of the roster.
I agree with that.
Those 4 that you mentioned are the only ones that I would ever, in my right mind, say, the Browns could be a Super Bowl contender.
And I don't think they'd win the Super Bowl with any of those guys.
That wasn't the question.
Right.
No.
Yeah. But I think they'd have a chance to make it with any of those guys.
Can you get to the title game?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Very interesting.
That was fun.
I wish we could find out.
Yeah, right?
It'd be so much fun to watch.
It'd be a lot of fun to find out.
I think now we're talking about guys that are currently in the league.
Yes.
What we did see with our own eyes in the last 5 years was a guy take a team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who just barely missed the playoffs. Let's be fair. They weren't bottom feeders.
Yeah.
They were in contention until the very last game. He came there and they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So now, if the question was Tom Brady in his prime, I would say, they're Super Bowl contenders.
Well,
I just don't think that currently we have that guy in the league. We got a couple guys that are close, but nobody that's done what Tom Brady did.
Well, I mean, the Bucs obviously had way more talent than the Browns do right now, especially.
That's why I pointed that out. Right, I think they were 8-8 or whatever they were the year before.
If you put Chris Godwin and Mike Evans 4 years ago on this Browns team, I think you would have said yes to those 4 quarterbacks.
I would have, absolutely. Yeah. I probably would have.
But then again, they're projected
win total. I just want one big weapon in the running back and the backfield, and one big weapon.
The Judkins injury really gives you a lot less hope about the running game. I think.
Wait, Judkins?
I'm not injury. I meant everything.
I missed
it might
something.
As well be.
Yeah, it might as well be. But if we had Judkins here, even though he's unproven, obviously, we'd be thinking differently about the running game.
I know you got to move. I want to get a clarification from Jay on Judkins. Yesterday, it was reported, I think, by Schefter that they're miles apart. How can that be?
Well, we touched on it yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm speculating on this. That
it's language.
Well, clearly he wants a fully guaranteed deal.
Yes.
And he's got every right to ask for it now because you just gave one to Isaiah Bond, who is an undrafted free agent.
You're right.
And it's less money, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because once a guy you didn't draft who just went through something very similar to what Judkins went through.
Deal.
When you give him a fully guaranteed deal and you gave Schlesinger a guaranteed deal at the top of the
second round. The 35th pick in the draft or whatever it was.
Of course he's going to ask for a fully guaranteed deal.
And you know what? He's got a leg to stand on.
Yeah, how do you tell him no when you just did it with Bond?
Yeah. Zach Jackson said to me yesterday on my podcast that he thinks the Browns don't really want to sign him until the league has decided what they're doing with him in terms of suspension.
Jay, do you think that the league will wait because he's not even a member of the league? How can they suspend him?
You can
still. I mean, I don't know how they could. He's not currently. He's not an NFL player.
No, but
how does an NFL?
Well, they
how
still
does somebody who's not an NFL player get suspended?
They still hold his rights.
So, I know they hold his rights, but I think the NFL is waiting for the Browns to do something.
I'm sure the Browns have been in communication with the league on this.
Yeah, I mean, they've suspended other guys who are free agents. They've been in the NFL before.
He's never been an NFL player.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure they, like you say, his rights are owned by the Browns. It seems to me that it would be a little.
It's very odd.
I thought they would sign him first.
It's the whole thing has been odd, I admit, because.
All of that being said, quick question. Would you, there's a do-over button right here. Do you push it and get Nick Chubb back and Judkins never happened?
I'd push it and draft Travion Henderson.
Okay. That's a better scenario.
But yes, right now I wish they, again, we'll see how Nick Chubb looks in Houston.
I
would at this point I would
talk
like
to anyone in Houston.
Have I talked
about Nick? Yeah,
no.
I've talked to one guy who's regular. He goes every day. Says Nick Chubb looks like Nick Chubb. But now I want to see it in the game.
I mean, in the moment, right now this really stinks with everything going on with Judkins.
Yeah.
They're not going to be any good this year anyway, more than likely.
So why not keep them? That was my argument last fall.
No, let Judkins clear this up. I still think he's going to have a long career with the Browns. It's off to a terrible start, but if he can work through this, regardless of how long it takes, again, they weren't going anywhere anyway this year. I still think he could be a highly productive back for this team for a really long time.
I hope so. He looks the part. My God, when you watch him just in his practice footage, he looks like an absolute beast. Let's hope he can translate.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get to our next topic. It's brought to us by BetterHelp. These days, it feels like there's advice for everything. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. But how do you know what actually works? With so much information online about mental health and wellness, it can be overwhelming to figure out what's true and what actually works. That's where talking to a licensed therapist through BetterHelp can make all the difference. You get real, personalized guidance instead of just guessing based on something you saw on social media. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/LockedOn. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOn.
Hey, Mike, normally I wouldn't interrupt, but since we talked about Beasley earlier, I just saw something from Hollinger. Just real quick, he said, according to his numbers, Washington, Charlotte, Chicago, Indiana, and Brooklyn could all pay Beasley between $13 and $15 million a year.
Well, he ain't taking a vet min then. There you go.
And Detroit could give him $7 million. So I think he's got better options.
Yeah, he's not taking a vet minimum if that's the case.
The dream is dead.
Question I was going to ask you guys.
Fun while it lasted.
48
Question
minutes.
I was going to ask you guys. We know Myles Garrett will obviously start on one end of the Browns' defensive line. He's the best defensive player in football. But we are yet to get clarity on who will be the edge opposite of Myles Garrett. There's a four-person battle, really three, but four guys kind of competing for that opposite edge rusher spot on the Browns as we enter the final week of preseason. Those four are Alex Wright, who was injured last year but got off to a promising start. Isaiah McGuire, who was a PFF darling. JTS, the former first-round pick. The Browns signed this offseason from Tampa Bay. And Cameron Thomas, a guy who's been around the league for a while, who's been a standout in camp thus far. Jason, if it was up to you, who do you think has the inside track to start opposite of Myles Garrett? And I know we said the quarterbacks may not matter in a preseason game, but are you kind of looking at those guys, these potential edge rushers, on Saturday for one to separate themselves from the rest?
I don't think Saturday is going to dictate who starts and who doesn't. And it's funny because you said it, Isaiah's sort of the PFF darling. I like Alex Wright. I like watching Alex Wright get after the quarterback. But when you read things like PFF, just give off-the-chart grades for Isaiah McGuire as a run-stopping end, I guess I'll go with that. Myles is going to have the pass rush on lockdown from one side, and if you've got the middle and the other edge locked up with McGuire, I kind of want to see more of him. And he's sort of the guy that you don't pay a ton of attention to during the game. I know I don't. I've seen Alex Wright flash a lot more than I've seen McGuire flash at times. I think both of them are pretty capable, and both of them are going to play a lot. Like you need depth on that defensive line, and you need to keep rotating guys in. So I really want to watch Isaiah McGuire more this year and see what is it about him that PFF seems to love.
I'm still with Alex Wright. He was my sleeper guy last year to have a breakout season. He was. I still feel that way. I'm going to give him another chance. He's dealt with injury. It's a major disappointment that essentially for his entire career, outside of 1 year for Clowney, that Myles has not really had a quality player on the opposite end of him. I'm hoping between the combination of Wright and Thomas that, maybe you'll get that. I've always seen so much potential, as you said, flashes from Alex Wright. So he's still the guy I think most highly of. I think the others are just nothing much.
You don't like McGuire?
No, besides Wright and McGuire.
Oh, okay.
The other two guys on the list.
You kept saying Thomas.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I was coming.
Yes.
I meant Wright, not Thomas. Sorry.
I couldn't agree more with you guys. There's part of me. You know how PFF is dead to me, except for their opinion on
20
the Browns.
minutes ago it was alive.
Well, no, they came back to live when they had the Browns wide receiving room at 32. They got that
had
one right.
One heartbeat and then flatlined again.
That's right. Yeah. Now they're back to Code Red. I like McGuire. I don't think he's a pig, but I don't see.
That's the nicest thing you can say.
No, I like him more than that.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think he's not a good player, but I don't see the guy they see.
Yeah.
And I keep wondering, do they take bribes?
I think
do they take payoffs?
I think that they just ask him to do different things. And Myles flashes, obviously, because of
course
the physical specimen that he is. Defensive ends flash when they're in the backfield.
Yes.
They don't flash when they're corralling running backs at the line of scrimmage.
I know. So for me, I still think that Alex Wright has more upside. I kept watching last year saying, okay, let me squint and see if I can see this superstar in Isaiah McGuire that PFF sees. You know how when there's a overwhelming opinion on someone and it disagrees with yours, you start saying, well, I must be wrong. I have to be wrong on this.
I think everyone else is idiots. When
yeah.
Well, I've been known to think that too.
There are a lot of idiots out there.
See Baker Mayfield. But honestly, I keep looking at him going, well, God, that was just an average play to me. He didn't jump off the chart where I've got to give him this ridiculous grade. Some of his grades last year, I thought that they were grading the wrong player. I thought they were watching McGuire and they were actually watching Myles Garrett, and they got confused. But you're right, Bull. It's almost a sin that Myles Garrett hasn't had the luxury in Cleveland what T.J. Watt has in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And what so many other guys across the league that have made a career of stockpiling sacks. To me, what Myles Garrett has done is even more impressive. He's done it alone. He hasn't had that wingman, except for Clowney, who I think had 10 sacks that year.
I think that's the only guy that's ever had double-digit sacks.
That was it.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be Alex Wright. I'm still open to the idea that my eyes are blurry when I'm looking at McGuire and I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing or what PFF is seeing. So maybe I'm holding out hope that maybe he can be the guy. But I like this question, and here's why. Here's my takeaway from this. He may not have a superstar on the line with him, but when you take all of the pieces on the defensive front for the Cleveland Browns, it's possible. I'm not saying that we're there yet. This could be the best defensive front that he's had to work with. When you talk about Mason Graham as a first-round draft pick, Mike Hall is a guy who flashed big time last year. We're talking about, is it McGuire or Wright? Well, there's four guys.
Yeah, well,
they haven't had that kind of depth.
Yeah, I mean, this is, 4 or 5 years ago, was it, when they brought in Dalvin Tomlinson, and they had some veterans at defensive tackle, like good veterans.
But
they were
really
not
didn't
bad.
Pan out.
Well, Dalvin Tomlinson was decent.
He's okay.
Especially his first year. But most defensive tackles are not going to get a lot of sacks, right? Like, we're not expecting a ton of sacks from Mason Graham. But, yes, this is the first time that they've had two highly drafted defensive tackles that seem to have a lot of potential. Everybody seems to think Mason Graham is a no-brainer, that he's going to be really good. And a lot of that's going to be stuff, to some degree, like McGuire. Obviously, he's way more talented, that we're not going to necessarily stand out because they're not going to be sacks.
Yeah.
But Graham especially has the chance to be a guy that, for once, that the offensive line has to worry about besides Myles Garrett. That
I agree.
That you may have to double team him some. Ultimately, you're going to double team Myles Garrett more than anybody else. But if Mason Graham could pull 10% of the double teams off Myles Garrett, what a difference that can make.
Yeah. You know, we're going to do this topic, I imagine, next week, but I'll just touch on it briefly here. At some point, we always do who's under the most pressure this year.
Yeah.
Oh, we will for sure do that.
I know we'll do that. But I will quickly throw out, I think Jim Schwartz is under a lot of pressure this year. A lot of pressure. And here's why. We looked, coming into the draft, we're like, well, God, your first 5 picks have to be offense. I mean, the cupboard is bare.
Yeah.
And somehow he pulls enough weight in this organization that he gets them to trade away the pick that would have most likely been a two-way player, but would have helped him on defense as well, so we could go get a defensive player in Mason Graham. That is a loud voice in that room, that he was able to do that, because you, me, and everybody that follows this stuff said, oh, it's going to be an offensive draft for the Browns.
Yeah. Well, not just that. I mean, then they took Schlesinger at the 33rd pick. So
exactly.
2 of the top 33
so
picks.
So Jim Schwartz, this is what you need. Yeah. You got it. What else do you need? A linebacker? You got it. Now go win.
Yeah, well,
go be better than you were last year.
I mean, not just last year. I mean, the defense did not play well at the end of the 23 season, including the playoffs.
No, especially
and then
Houston.
They were at best mediocre.
So his star,
last year,
to me, his star has a red arrow next to it, going the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think he's under a lot of pressure this year, and I think a lot of it, based on how this plays out, is going to be determined by how the defensive front plays as a group.
To the point you made earlier about the defensive line, it's always been patchwork veterans, it feels like, around Myles.
Now they got kids.
They've got youth and high potential youth. When you talk about Mason Graham, Mason could be to Myles what Cam Hayward is to TJ Watt.
Yeah, let's hope.
And Mike Hall, another young guy. I mean, McGuire and Wright are by no means old.
No.
Yeah, right.
They're closer to young.
And Myles is still in the prime. So you've got a young unit that could really grow together, hopefully, ideally. I think the defensive line will be the strength of this team for years to come. It could be. It should be.
It sets up that way.
I mean, when you have a number 1 overall pick, a number 5 overall pick, I don't care what else you've got on that line. That's got to be the strength.
You better produce.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure on that defense.
And not to mention, if Mason becomes what everyone hopes that he can be with Myles, how much does that elevate Isaiah McGuire and Alex Wright?
Sure.
Right. It's going to make things way
Everybody's job
easier.
gets easier if you add another stalwart.
Suddenly
to that
they look
unit.
a lot better than maybe they are just because of who they're playing next.
Right.
Last thing I'll ask on this, and we'll move on. But none of you guys mentioned JTS as your answer. You guys all went with Wright or McGuire. JTS was the highest drafted of the 3, former first-round pick. Never lived up to his potential in Tampa Bay, but he has the most athletic traits, I think is the right way to phrase it. The size, the speed, the strength that you would want.
There's a lot to like there.
Are you guys anticipating him having any impact for the Browns this year? Or do you think he'll end up being buried on the depth chart and not really having any?
No, I think he'll be there. They're probably their 4th end. And you're going to rotate a lot.
Yes.
So, I expect him to play a role. Not a huge role, but a role, certainly.
I agree.
And he has a chance. Listen, all these guys, every defensive end on this team has a chance to fight for that number 2 spot because nobody has established themselves there. So even though we may like Alex Wright or Isaiah McGuire, finally got both of their names right, it's really wide open. Anybody that's going to make plays is going to get more of an opportunity. So he has an opportunity here. Make some plays.
Agreed.
He does it, he'll get more playing time.
Awesome. With that, let's get to our final topic of today's YouTube show. Then we head over to WKYC for another 30 minutes. This next topic is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONNFL at Monarch Money for 50% off your first year. Guys, we have yet to get any definitive answer on the future of Emmanuel Clase. We know he has been suspended indefinitely while the Major League Baseball looks into some gambling allegations. So I wanted to ask you guys, if Emmanuel Clase never pitches in Major League Baseball again, what would his legacy be? But before you guys answer, I want to play a little soundbite from Austin Hedges, who was on the Chris Rose Rotation podcast earlier this year, and he was asked, this is prior to any of the gambling stuff, about Emmanuel Clase and where he ranks in the all-time hierarchy of pitching. So I'll let you guys answer and think of what your legacy for Clase would be following this, but this is where Clase was before all this went down. This is Austin Hedges on the Chris Rose podcast.
Emmanuel Clase, and we've talked about him before on this show. Is he the best pitcher you have ever caught?
I think he's, through this amount of time, he's the best pitcher ever. I think he's the best pitcher ever.
Hold on. In the history of the sport?
Yes. Through 200-ish innings, he's the best pitcher ever. I would love to compare the numbers. He's better than Mariano. If you need 3 outs, that guy, that's the best pitcher of all time to get 3 outs. He's got a long way to go to be the best of all time, right? Because longevity matters. But at 26 years old, with these numbers and that many innings, I mean, we're talking about he needs a few more saves, got to beat Helsley. If he does, that's 3 years in a row leading all of MLB in saves, which has never been done before. I mean, this guy added a new pitch essentially this year to shape his cutter even more to the bottom of the zone at 101. So yes, I would hold firmly to that he is the best pitcher of all time through this amount of time.
So Jay, what's his legacy if he never pitches again? From potentially the greatest pitcher of all time through 200 innings to we'll never see him.
Complicated. And I will say, when I first heard Austin Hedges say that, I, like Chris, thought you are out of your tree. But when you go back and you look at, because he clarified 200 innings, he's not out of his tree. I'm not sure that he is the greatest pitcher ever through 200 innings, but he absolutely is in that conversation. This is what the reason I say his legacy is complicated is I think he's going to go down as a guy whose star burned hot and bright and had incredible upside, but also a lot of controversy. Remember the positive steroid test? When you test positive for steroids, that always sticks with a guy, and that's always stuck with me with him. And it also makes you wonder, okay, is he now using HGH or something that baseball can't find because they're not testing for it? So I've always kind of looked at him with a raised eyebrow. Then I went and I looked at numbers from last year, and this is where it really gets complicating for me. Last year in the regular season, he was all-time great. That's not even up for debate. 47 saves, a .61 ERA, and a whip of .66. He led the league in saves 3 straight years. Compare his playoff ERA to his postseason ERA, and it was such an abomination and such an anomaly that now it's fair to ask, was he really that bad, or was he throwing games? And that's a fair, if these allegations prove true, how does a guy go from giving up? These are the numbers that really get you. In 74 appearances in the regular season, he gave up 8 earned runs. 74 appearances, 8 earned runs. In 7 playoff appearances, he gave up 8 earned runs. I got that wrong. I'm sorry. 74 appearances in the regular season, he gave up 5 runs. 74 appearances, 5 runs. In 7 playoff appearances, he gave up 8 earned runs. Those beg some sort of explanation. I would, at the time, I said, oh, it's fatigue. They've overused him. They're asking him to do something that they don't ordinarily ask him to do. How many times did he come in the 8th to get 2, 3, or 1 out? Too many times he was coming into the 9th inning from the dugout and not the bullpen. And I think that did affect him. But my God, was this intentional? And I think it's fair to ask that now that we know, and it's up to everybody to make up their minds. The evidence to me is overwhelming. And I don't know what other evidence we have. Some might exonerate him, some might implicate him. But to me, his legacy is wildly complicated. And I, for one, don't think we'll ever see him pitch again. Like you, I'm interested to see where this goes because you said earlier in the show, if Beasley gets a second chance, maybe he will too. I don't know.
I don't think Emmanuel Clase has a legacy. I think this is his legacy.
Cheating.
When you talk about Pete Rose, do you mention he's the all-time hits leader, or do you mention he's banned from baseball? I think he's banned from baseball.
But I think that
he bet on games.
Don't you think that he's the all-time hits leader? That's a big part of his legacy.
The first thing I think of is he's banned from baseball. He bet on games. And, oh, by the way, he's also the all-time hits leader. Isn't it a shame he's not in Cooperstown? And, I mean, you, the three of us here are huge baseball fans.
Yeah.
I think to random people, he's not known as the all-time hits leader. He's known as he bet on baseball, and he's banned from the game.
Yeah.
That's Emmanuel Clase's legacy.
And that's fair.
Yeah. I think 2 years from now, unless you're a Guardians fan, he's completely forgotten.
Yeah.
If he's out of baseball.
You know who he becomes? Fausto Carmona.
The latest line of
remember? Is this just like, remember
guy
him?
who was great for a minute. By the way, Hedges' comments, you can't say he's the greatest pitcher ever through 200 innings is stupid. Saying he's the greatest closer ever through 200 innings, all right, I'll hear that.
Well, I think the reason he said that is because no starter has numbers, but that's not fair. He's pitching 9 innings or 8 innings instead of 1.
I've never seen a lineup 3 times versus
No, you've got to compare him to relievers.
I've never seen anything like Doc Gooden in his rookie year. There was nothing I ever saw like
phenomenal.
that. So that he was the best pitcher I ever saw first 200 innings. But yeah, I mean, Clase was as good as any. I agree. You know, Mariano Rivera in his first 200 innings, like his first season, he came up as a starter. He wasn't good, but he was getting postseason saves within his first 200, 250 innings. So,
but not at a dominant, not like.
But postseason, he was.
You're right.
Postseason, he was, and he was dominant by year. You know, the second year, whatever. It doesn't even matter. This is. Yes, I agree. I do agree that I think of other things with Pete Rose, but the first thing I think of is banned from baseball.
Yes.
I do think of the other things, but the first thing that comes to mind is banned from baseball. And while this guy was great before this, it wasn't long enough that, like,
he didn't have a Hall of Fame career.
No, he didn't play long enough.
He was
might
on
have
track.
been on track.
Well, of course he was on track.
But there's been a lot of closers that were on track and flamed out. So.
Well, at that position, that's what happens. To me, what's most impressive is that he was on pace to lead the league in saves for the 4th straight year.
Right. Yeah, and as much as I still think it was fatigue last postseason, it is not unfair to say was he tanking games.
Right. I agree with both of that. I don't think he was throwing games, but it's more than reasonable right now as we sit here to say, to at least ask that and have that
agree with you. I don't think he was either. I think the moments were too big for him, and I think it was exhaustion and asking him to do something out of his normal.
Yeah.
But... And I don't think he was intentionally, because if you go back and look at some of those pitches were damn good pitches that ended up being home runs.
Some of them were meatballs and some of them were...
Some were, but there were a few that were like, okay, I don't know where he could have put it.
Yeah.
But that, to make that allegation is not so much a leap of faith today as it would have been then.
Right.
Now we know...
If you would have said that at the time, we'd be like, what are you, out of your mind?
I would have said that too.
Yeah.
But now, okay.
It's not...
Was he?
Yeah, I mean...
He gave up 4... earned runs, that might be one of the most incredible seasons of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, he finished 3rd in the Cy Young and I think top 10 in MVP.
I have his note. He finished 11 in MVP.
11.
He was untouchable in the regular season.
He gave up 5 earned runs in 74 appearances.
Let me give the numbers from last regular season, just for anyone else who's not looking. He went 4-2 in 66 games finished. He pitched in 74 overall games.
Yep.
He had 47 saves in 74 and a third inning. He gave up 39 hits, 5 earned runs, struck out 66.
Pitched in half their games. He gave up 5 earned runs.
The strikeouts aren't that amazing, but
8 per. I think he had 8 per 9.
Yeah,
8 per 9 exactly. But that, yes.
But and
a 7.
He allowed like 40-something base runners.
But his walks per 9 were low. 1 per 9, I think.
Right. His whip was what, like 060?
Yeah, he could very low.
His whip was 0.659.
I mean, that's like ludicrous.
That's video game numbers.
Yeah.
And then for him to give up 8 runs in 7 appearances after giving up 5 in 74, I can ask, was this intentional?
I think the one thing that makes me think it was like Kate Smith also struggled there. Like all their relievers kind of struggled in the playoffs.
I know, but he was just head and shoulders better than everybody.
Well, but Kate Smith, I mean, I don't know.
Smith was great.
He was untouchable.
But the disparity between Cade in the regular season and the playoffs is not as jarring as this.
No, it's not. You're right.
This is
fair.
incriminating.
If you, whatever. If you would have told me a Guardians pitcher is going to be swept up in gambling allegations, he would have been my first choice, my second choice, and my third choice.
Me too, because he cheated. He's cheated once before.
Well, there's that. I honestly, I'd forgotten about that.
And so you lose the benefit of the doubt with me. When you cheat one time, sorry, you don't get the...
You're a cheater.
He's kind of a cheater. He's kind of a knucklehead, too. He's kind of a knucklehead.
Yeah, well, he went home after one of his playoff blows and posted pictures of his awards on social media. Yeah. That's when I initially said, I don't know that this guy will ever rebound from this.
No, I don't.
Because that's a mental collapse when you do something like that.
It's such a shame. He's got such immense talent.
Oh.
And
where will he go, Jay? Will he go to the Mexican League? Will he go to Korea? I mean, will anybody have him?
I'm hesitant. After the Beasley thing, I'm like, I want to make sure that he might get a conviction on this before we totally throw dirt on him. Maybe by some chance
we've never.
But the difference here is basketball and the FBI. It was involved, but baseball. They are synonymous with you don't gamble. Period. Full stop. Yeah. Look at football. The way that football dealt with steroid users.
It's like they didn't care really.
Okay, you get 4 games, and then it's erased off your legacy.
Nobody even cares.
I can tell you players that tested positive for steroids that people don't remember.
Yeah.
But in baseball, we don't forget.
Never.
And
it's
the one thing posted in every clubhouse.
I don't think I can't remember a player being put on this restricted list and then coming back without punishment.
Yeah. Have we ever see? I think this is a new era for us, like a new frontier. We haven't had gambling investigations in baseball.
There were last year, and all those guys got suspended. Now, not all of them were banned for life.
But the odd thing is,
refresh my memory, Bull. What
the one dude was banned for life?
Yeah, I do remember.
Chapita Marcano.
Wow, good pull, man. Yeah. I wouldn't have got that on a multiple choice.
But what's odd about awesome. Those guys, it came out, okay, here's what they did.
Right, and they were immediately suspended.
Yeah, right. This is odd because they've pulled them.
Yeah.
But they haven't been.
It's weird that they haven't announced
it. Here's the thing. I would guess, and see if you guys agree with this, the longer this goes, the better it becomes for both pitchers.
Maybe. I don't know.
And here's why. Here's why I say that. If they had the smoking gun, they would... why would you sit on it until August?
Right.
Guys, August 31st was the date. This has already been extended once for our team.
That's true.
Now, here we are. We're extending it another time. I was discussing this with someone in the legal community, and I said, what kind of proof do they need to show? And they said, well, what we have so far is a lot of people on social media that have been very, very observant, and they've put together all these videos of all of these suspect pitches, and all of that is great. But that's like having, and don't conflate the crimes. This was his example. He said, that's like having a murder with no body or weapon. Those are very, very difficult convictions.
Yeah.
You might have a lot of, circumstantial, but you don't have the 2 most important things you need. 1, was there a crime committed? And 2, what proof do you have that it happened?
Yeah.
And if there was no electronic devices, this is what he said. I'm sure right now they're combing through their electronic devices. I'm guessing these guys had some level of intelligence to at least say, we can't talk, it's got to be face-to-face, and this is how it's going to go down. If 10 of his buddies cashed checks for $10,000 on pitches that ended up being balls that they bet were going to be balls, to me, that's as close to proof as you can find. But it's still circumstantial.
Yeah,
maybe they could say, I know him, man. He loves to come in there and throw a first pitch ball.
How stupid can you be?
I know.
If you're a Guardians fan right now, you're like, well, I hope they, you obviously hope they didn't do it, and that's a pretty big difference.
Imagine if you get both of them back on September 1st.
Oh, sorry, Jason. But
that would change things in the playoff chase.
Yeah,
no, they're done.
I think they're done for this year. But
guys,
I'm just
careful.
saying. You never know.
You're being bull now, saying that the Steelers are going to finish below 500.
They are.
I don't know. The Yankees are playing much better baseball.
Yeah.
And the Guardians have made some blunders the last week that you just shake your head
I just look at the other teams. I don't think they're as good as them right now. But
I agree.
What are they, 2.5 behind the Yankees, though?
No, the Yankees are the top wild card.
There's 3 behind Seattle for the last spot.
I think because Seattle's gone in a slump.
They chased down Detroit. Now, granted, the lead
against
Detroit.
Seattle.
But they cut 10 games off the lead on Detroit in a month.
Right, but now it's back up again.
Not to 15.
No, but it's still 10 and a half.
I'm not ready to have the
It's not 100% over.
But you know what? If you tell me tomorrow that Ortiz and Clase have been cleared and they come back to play immediately, okay.
I'm not sure Ortiz has a spot in the rotation right now.
I mean,
Ciccone looks like garbage.
Well, we'll see how he pitches tonight, but he hasn't pitched
I mean, the last two, I'm afraid that he's hit a slump.
I definitely want to see Parker Messick again, but certainly
Messick, wow.
But I certainly, Clase would obviously make a big difference. But I think this is more about the long term rather than this year.
I still think it's highly unlikely that either pitches again in the big leagues. I think there's a chance.
I would agree with that.
But it feels to me like it's increasingly more and more.
The Beasley thing today shocked me. So
I
don't know.
You
At
never
this
know.
point now, let's wait and see.
The question is, will Travis Bazzana get called up now before the end of the season?
Why not?
He's done well in 9 games, I think, in Columbus.
Done well enough for me.
I'd call him up September 1st.
At least give him some big league at bats.
I'd call him up September 1st. I'd play him every day at second base.
I'm not opposed to that.
I like what Kafis has done. Manzardo's had a good season.
And then I got to tell you
was
guys,
very promising.
Yeah, I was going to ask you real quick, Jay. Give me your Messick thoughts before we do Super Chats.
Yeah, because I wasn't here when you guys did it the next day. I'm sure you talked about him after
we
he
did
pitched.
yesterday, yeah.
I love the kid.
I
loved his composure. I thought he was a little overamped in the first inning. His movements were herky-jerky. You get it. You can understand why. I thought it was a terrible outcome. That kid deserved so much better than that. If you think about how they got their first run, Bo Naylor let a ball go between his legs that allowed a runner to advance, and then the seeing eye bloop hit that allowed his only run to score. After that, he settled in. He pounded the zone with strikes, but it's kind of weird. I say pounded the zone, but he lived on the edges. I was really impressed with his ability to spot his pitches in his first big league start. He was putting pitch after pitch on the corner of the box, on the edge of the line. Nothing was in the nitro zone. And guys come up all the time and have first-time success because the big league hitters don't know what the heck he's going to have. Let's see if he can carry it out. But so far, this guy has been great at every level, and I loved his composure. I loved everything about him. I loved when Vogt came to get him. He had a smile ear to ear.
I wanted him to finish the inning, and I know
I wish he would have. Yeah, I was with you on that.
But I love it.
I love him.
I really like what I saw. To me, what stands out is he only gave up 1 walk in almost 7 innings.
Very
good command.
16, At one point, I think he had 16 of 19 first pitch strike. That might have been his final numbers.
Which is huge, obviously.
Like, you got to start guys with strikes. Don't. The kid, the rookie from Milwaukee, the tall, thin.
Mizorowski,
He pitched the other night. I watched highlights of his game.
It was against the Cubs, So.
Pitched great, except for 1 inning, he walked 3 guys.
Yep.
He allowed 3 runs because there was a bases clearing double. And other than that, they didn't touch him. Yeah. It's just like walks are poison. If you're going to give guys free passes, expect for them to come home.
Yeah.
And that's what killed him. And what I was most impressed with Messick was he wasn't even in jeopardy of losing guys. Like, he was ahead in the count the entire time. And the fact that he's a lefty,
I love that.
Oh my God, he could really, really be a jolt to this organization if he pans out.
We got about 13 Super Chats, 13 Super Chats, so let's get to that before we head over to WKYC for the final 30 minutes of today's programming. The first Super Chat comes from Dragon the Abandoner, who says, also, Philly was going to draft Shedeur. You guys heard anything about Philly being...
No, they weren't.
I've never heard that
from
anybody.
That was a rumor that the Browns were trying to get in front of the Eagles. That's why they moved up to get him.
Yeah.
The Eagles were not trying to get him.
They weren't?
No.
Doggy Bone says, so your trusted source is more reliable than Eric Dickerson's.
Mike, start over.
Yeah,
start over.
I was talking.
Doggy Bone says, so your trusted source is more reliable than Eric Dickerson's trusted source. You in real time saying he handled all this well, but somehow he tanked the pre-draft process? Thanks, guys.
There's no conspiracy theory by the league.
None.
To punish Shedeur.
Zero.
None.
Now,
they didn't.
There are some conspiracy theories I believe in.
Think he was
I believe Major League Baseball is involved in collusion against Trevor Bauer. I believe that at one time they were found guilty of collusion against free agents in general.
Yes.
To suppress the market and to
I don't believe their inclusion against Trevor
Bauer is a very messy case.
I know it is. I don't think
anybody wants to deal with him and he can't pitch anymore.
Well, no, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about when he was still available and cleared. Why was no one touching him?
Because there's
I think it was very clear from the very top of Major League Baseball they did not want him in a
The only conspiracy theory I believe in that vein is that Colin Kaepernick was a conspiracy theory, 100%.
I believe in that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But Shedeur.
But the league didn't get together and whisper in each other's ears, don't take him.
I'm not saying they were, in Colin's case, I'm not saying it was bad actions, but there are actions with Colin. There were actions with Trevor.
Right.
There are no actions with Shedeur.
No, what did he do?
There's no reason for anyone to target him.
No.
They are not targeting him. There's no conspiracy against him. They didn't like him.
I think professional sports, guys, is the last great meritocracy. You get what you deserve in pro sports, for the most part. Here's why. It's about winning. It's about performance. You can't afford to be weak at one position because you're trying to fill some sort of a narrative on the other side with who you have on your roster.
Yeah.
It's about winning. And ball don't lie.
Yeah.
If you have the best 53 players, you're going to win the Super Bowl for the most part. And for us to think for 1 second that you could get all 32 teams on the same page of not taking someone that they think could help them win,
of course,
you're absurd.
Of course.
And
that's
please,
totally nuts.
And you're not helping Shedeur with your conspiracy theories either.
And again, Eric Dickerson's one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game. It doesn't make sense. The NFL conspired against him, but then somebody called and said, don't do that. Well, who's the somebody?
Yeah.
Who's the somebody more powerful than the NFL that called and said, it doesn't, 10 seconds of critical thinking, guys, it doesn't add up. It's stupid.
Yeah. All right, next one. Eric Jones says, the Browns are trash. I hope Shedeur gets traded next week.
To one of the other 31 teams that passed on him 5 times. Okay.
Doggy Bone says, perceived distraction, but there was active draft prospects with sexual assault allegations who got drafted higher.
That's what we're saying.
Yes.
You're making the point.
Why would they draft him? What did Shedeur do? If you're gonna collude against somebody to keep him out of the league, it would be someone that, and by the way, Bond was in that camp too.
Absolutely.
And the Browns signed him. So they're so tiring. I've said, guys, about our divisive fan base and how it is counterproductive to success. And I think
this isn't even the Browns fan base.
No,
though.
These are the Shedeur fan base.
These are the unhinged, fragile.
And they're coming from all corners of the globe.
Yes.
And that's great that he has that kind of a following. But, guys, you think you're helping him, and you're not.
You're not.
You are not helping him. You're hurting him.
You guys
let
saying
the kid
is
play
not going to change
football.
anybody's mind.
Huh?
So. For the same reason I've stopped talking about politics on Twitter, saying this is not changing anybody's mind.
I just like infuriating.
No, I know it's not going to change anyone's mind, but it's a statement that deserves to be made only because a lot of this is motivated from the idea that we can will him to be the starter. Our army is so big and our voices are so loud, we cannot be ignored. If we say he's legendary, by God, he must be legendary. Here's what will make him legendary. What he does on the football field. And that's it.
All right, next one. Irv says, Jason, you and your sources all hate Shedeur.
I mean, how many times
win.
How many times have I said I like the kid and I want him to win the job?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
CB says...
Paid 99 cents to get that point on our show.
CB says the Browns are scared of how bright Shedeur will shine.
Yes, that's it.
No doubt.
Yes,
they don't want to be good.
All right, I'm taking Bull's advice. I'm just going to say it.
Eric Jones says Cleveland doesn't deserve Sanders. Stay in the gutter. DB Dog 21 says, could it be that they're not giving Shedeur the keys because of his personality? Stefanski likes his quarterbacks more serious and buttoned up. Shedeur's personality is looser and fun. Maybe Stefanski views that as needing to mature more.
I mean, Kevin said in his introductory presser something to the effect of personality is welcome, production is required. I understand it's a different position. They had Odell. It's not personality.
Yeah. If you ball, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
His personality,
as long as you're a good citizen.
I mean, his personality is amazing. It's great.
I think his personality is one of his biggest
I can't
attributes.
imagine why Kevin Stefanski could have.
And you know what? This is why I seriously hope he gets a chance.
That's a great point.
I think guys will gravitate to him.
100%.
Yes. If he gets
they already have.
Yeah.
I know they have, but You hear guys like Myles coming out when Joe Flacco was named the starter, basically in full support of it, full-throated approval.
The veteran,
and it's because he gives us the best chance to win. But if all of a sudden young Buck comes in there and plays well, it will be a tidal wave of guys who are. You lead by example and you earn credibility and respect. And he hasn't had a chance to do that yet.
Here's what
if he gets the chance, I think he can pull it off.
Here's what I believe, without knowing this directly from the players. It's just my opinion based on what I've observed. The players clearly want Joe Flacco to be the starting quarterback because he's a veteran.
Gives them the best chance to win.
Especially the veteran players. They 100% want Joe Flacco to be quarterback to start the season. But I think there's a lot of players on the Browns that do believe in Shedeur Sanders.
I agree.
And I think if you asked anonymously every player on the Browns, okay, you got no choice. Either Shedeur or Dillon Gabriel is the starter week 1. I bet way more would say Shedeur.
I agree with you. Sure. I think it would be overwhelming.
Whether that's the right call or not, I don't know.
We'll find out because, again, the chances of Joe finishing the season without injury are very slim.
Guys, we got 4 more, so let me read these and we can react to them all at once, but I'll read all 4. Dontavius Winston said, I feel like Shedeur had better stats. Gabriel had better tape. Dragon the Abandoner says, Jay has never thought, oh, wow, maybe I'm wrong. Blowin' Za247 says, Eric Dickerson's sources are as credible as Jay's, but considering the way Shedeur fell in the draft, be pranked and humiliated. Owners say he's not his guy. These actions don't fit the optics accused.
The owner did not say that.
No, he didn't.
And lastly, last one real quick. Jason Lloyd, why is an NFL coach viewing tape on Shedeur versus Carolina? He's getting his guys ready. Who's prepping for Shedeur? You use that NFL coach label for fake cred so you can wiggle your way out of saying, well, I didn't say a current NFL head coach.
It could be a Philadelphia coach who was looking at Cleveland tape because he was getting ready to play Cleveland.
And Jimmy Haslam, I can't believe I'm defending Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam's point of saying it wasn't his guy was that people were saying that Shedeur was chosen only because Jimmy wanted him, and Jimmy was making the point that it wasn't him making that decision. That wasn't a knock at Shedeur like he didn't like him. I mean, to spin that is just
now
ridiculous.
You're doing what we were doing.
See,
yeah.
so
I'm not defending myself.
This is part of the circus that we don't need.
Yeah.
And this is why, and it's not Shedeur's fault. It's the air around him. It's the circus that he brought through no fault of his own. That is the noise that 31 other NFL teams said, no, we're good. We don't really want that distraction.
Well, we'll see if those teams made a mistake, and I time will tell.
We'll see you on KYC in 3 minutes.
3 minutes?